Hello guys and welcome back to CPC week 1. So week 1 we immediately have an out of conference match up against Dewford. So I don't know if you guys remember, we once faced in Gen 6. We lost a really close game. Basically it came down to the fact that I expected him to have Protect on his Mega Beetle, so I switched out my Mega Pidgeot, but apparently he did not have Protect on it, and that basically cost me the game, because if I stayed in and just clicked Hurricane, I would have won the game. But that was that. That's a long time ago. We will just see how far we have grown from there. As does he, because he has been killing it in the minors, and in Gen 7 he is doing pretty well. So immediately we're faced with a really difficult matchup. It might also be because our draft might not be the strongest, but he just has a lot of offensive threats. You can see here the teams he brought. So some notable mons he even left on the bench are Victini. I have exactly 0 Victini switch-ins. Yes, Finny can switch in, but then it gets Bolt Striked or Thundered, and it's dead. So mostly I expect a special Victini, because I also have a Zoroark on my roster, and like V-Create drops like Landorus or Finny can take a V-Create, or even Hexorus, and they still take quite a bit of damage, but they outspeed the turn after, which is quite nice. But also, if he kills them on V-Create, I could basically go into Zoroark and Pursuit Trap him from there. So if he brings Victini, I expect it special, so I planned accordingly. And then Mega Blasters, I really expect him to bring Blasters, because as you can see he has a Weavile, Dragonite, all weak to rocks. So I definitely expected Blasters for the Hedge control. I know Finny kinda deals with Blasters, but still it can just have HP Electric or HP Grass, still does around 30%. And then 2 other monsters left on the bench are Steelix and Rotom. Steelix is full turn, his Volt Switch immunity. I could see him bringing it mainly for the rocks, and just like Hexorus doesn't deal that well with it. Jolteon also doesn't. And then Rotom could be there for potentially maybe Landorus, and also just be a bit of an annoyance with if Finny is not in for Will-O-Wisp, and with Finny it can just Volt Switch upon. So it was also an annoying monster. He could pretty much bring all his monsters. So he ended up with Drapions, Galvantula, Mesprit, Whimsicott, Weavile and Dragonite. And I brought Landorus, Finny, Mega Gallade, Hexorus, Skarmory and Jolteon. So I left on the bench the Slowpoke plus Tangela. I didn't saw them doing much against his offensive mons. Gengar, because Gengar pretty much gets a kill every time it comes in, but basically it comes in once. Then he sacks a mon, goes into Weavile and Pursuit Traps it. So I didn't saw it doing too much. Zoroark also didn't needed a lot of coverage, and he could basically switch around with Galvantula, Drapions, Whimsicott, so I didn't saw that coming, and Kangaskhan also didn't have the matchup or the speed for it. So in the end I went with a Scarfed Landorus, because setup Dragonite especially, I thought he would bring Dragon Dance with either Z-Fly, so Supersonic Sky Strike, or Kickerfold Havoc. At +1 he pretty much outspeeds my whole team, pretty much kills my whole team also. So I went with Scarf Landorus to always be able to revenge it, even if something like webs are up, and I thought overall Scarf Landorus was not that bad. So I brought Scarf Landorus. Finny is a bit mixed defensive, able to take on some things a little bit, mainly the Blastoise, to an extent also Dragonite and such. Basically has Moonblast plus Surf, Nature's Madness, and last move I opted to go with Protect, because in the end from Mox also too, I saw with me repeatedly switching into Mega Blaster, especially when I spam rocks with Skarmory, he goes Blaster, so I go Finny. If rocks are up on my side, just overall I take some chip damage, and that brings me slowly in a range of his mons. So I thought lefties would be better. I first had Wakan, but I thought lefties would be a bit better, and with Protect I can get a bit more lefties recovery. It helps me deal with the D-Knight to an extent. It also lets me scout out some of his mons like Victini, Drapions, Weavile, even Dragonite could all be like choice mons, so that could be definitely nice. So I opted to go that route, and no defog. Also no defog on Skarm, because I couldn't fit on there. We can go over to that set. That set basically is full defensive to take on Weavile. Rocks, because Rocks really pressure his team. Whirlwind, because as I said, can't let him set up, especially with a mon like Dragonite. Brave Bird and Roost. So that Skarmory couldn't fit on Dewford. So I thought webs. Could it come against my team? I thought my team's not that fast compared to his team. So I was not really thinking he would bring it. And I thought if he brings it, I don't think it hurts me too much. But as you will see in the match, it might hurt me more than I would have liked. So that might definitely have been an error in my prep. I could potentially just have brought Dewford Finny to ease up that match a little bit, but then again, if Galvantula's not dead, Galvantula just hard switch into Finny as a default and precious webs that way. So that's also a thing that I had to note. Then my other mons are Adelaide. Adelaide is a specific, is more of a bulky-ish speedy set. Speedy to still be able to outspeed things like Drapions, but max HP. To still take hits from Drapions quite well. Needed pretty much Ice Punch because I didn't want D-Knight to set up. As I said, I have all my mons can put it in range, or Skarmory can will win it in range for the Scarf Lando. So Ice Punch, Drain Punch, just the general step, and then knock off because there were mons like Rotom, Finny, Rotom Tinny, so Victini, and Mesprit, and I thought knockoff would be really nice for those. And then as last move for Wish, I was a bit of a filler, but I also thought on the smaller bulky mons, Wish could definitely be nice. A Wish pass into either Finny or the Hexorus set I will mention shortly could be nice. So Hexorus is a Victini counter. Hexorus normally is not a Victini counter, but this Hexorus set is AV, max HP, even I think 52 EVs into Spadef, and then some speed to outspeed like Dragonite I think. And this was specifically because a special Victini just also murdered me, and this set can take 2 Glaciates. I think Glaciate from a live orb max special attack Victini, I only take a roll about 35%. That's quite alright. Then Jolteon is just mere for some pivoting and just revenging if needed. Is Baton Pass because Steelix is there, and then HPI, Shadow Ball, and Thunderbolt was pretty much what I needed. So I decided to lead off with Hexorus because no Victini, so Hexorus is kinda expendable, and I also kinda expected Galvantula. I can easily take 2 Bug Buzzes and just 2-shot it from there. He leads with his Whimsicott, so I'm thinking okay, I can stay in, but that's pretty risky, and he most likely just U-turns out or something, so I think I just go into Skarmory. As I do, as he sets up a sub, and I'm immediately thinking okay, it's most likely Subseed. He could even have Anchor, so I could set my rocks here, but then the turn after he could Anchor me, and he is behind the sub for sure, or I can just whirlwind him here on the lead sheet and then switch accordingly because I think that's better for me. So that's exactly what I do. I whirlwind him out, and I whirlwind him into Mesprit. Like, I would have liked another one, like Weavile would have been like best case scenario, Gaventure would be even worse. But if this is like offensive Mesprit, Thunderbolt could definitely kill me, and he might just take his chances because rocks are pretty obvious. But so I thought to myself, I can't allow Skarmory to go down here because Weavile looks more and more threatening. Like, someone can take a hit, but Skarmory is there mainly for it. So I thought, let me just pivot out into Jolteon, take a T-Bolt if necessary, and otherwise just get some damage off. So he goes just for his safe rocks. I fire off a Shadow Ball, doing a nice amount of damage. He's from this range, he's max HP, most likely defensive, as U-turn doesn't do offensive damage. So he gets a slow pivot out into his Galvantula, and I know for sure he's setting up webs here. But I make a bit of a misplay because I go Hexorus, thinking Hexorus can 2-shot it. Hexorus is kind of expendable, but I should have just stayed in with Jolteon because Jolteon now is still faster because there are no webs up, and Jolteon just 3-shots it with Shadow Ball, and that means I only take 1 Bug Buzz in the process because on the first turn he will just webs. But in the match I think I just didn't think, oh, first turn web, so I only have, so 3-shot is also fine. I thought I had to 2-shot it for some reason, and that was my first fuck up, and yeah, that will really cost me later through the game. Then I go Hexorus, he crits me with Bug Buzz, a little bit unfortunate because I might be in range of some other attacks I would not have been in. I go for the Poison Jab, expecting something like Whimsicott. Even if he goes Mesprit, I could potentially get a Poison, and I don't even 2-shot it with T-Claw anyways because I'm not offensive. As Poison Jab does 45%, Here I fuck up for the second time already, because so he has several plays. One play is staying in, he most likely doesn't even kill me, and Galvantula is still revengeable by like Landorus or something. That's if I don't kill with Poison Jab. Dragonclaw kills, and I thought he would either stay in or go Mesprit. So I thought Declaw was fine overall play. I didn't think he would go hard Whimsicott, but in the end, like even if he went Mesprit, I didn't do so with Dragonclaw, so Poison Jab was also fine. So basically it was a toss up if he stays in or would potentially go Whimsicott. So I just should have definitely went for Poison Jab, but I go for Dragonclaw as he goes hard into Whimsicott. Here is also a bit weird, because with Skarmory I immediately thought, oh, Subseed, potentially Encore, but here I kind of forgot that he could just Encore me in Declaw. So I just go for Poison Jab, thinking I could potentially still live a Moonblast, as he makes the offensive pivot into Dragonite. Yeah, most likely expecting something like Skarmory. Yeah, I didn't, at this point in time I thought, okay, why is Dragonite just Skarmory switching, but Dragonite gets some, definitely some electric coverage. So at least I proc his multi-skill, which is really nice. And here I think, okay, also I should have just Poison Jabbed again, because Extra is kinda expendable. And yeah, Dragonite is a little bit of a threat, but is even with Poison Jab, it's in range of Landorus, and that's the main point that I'm trying to accomplish with Dragonite. As Whimsicott is always a possibility, so I just go for Dragonclaw as he goes Whimsicott. So here again, most likely like 2 turns back I didn't consider Encore, I'm still not considering, so I'm just going for the Poison Jab as he goes for Moonblast, fully expecting me to kill me, but I just live. This was a roll, I believe it was about a 50-50 roll, it might be a 40-60 roll. It's not an absolute minimal, because I still had max HP and quite some speed def and with AV, so but I'm able to kill off Whimsicott, and that's really big. So he took a little bit of a risk, but he also thought if he would Encore and I make like an offensive switch, he would lose a lot of momentum. So I can definitely get his side. I also already made some mistakes this game, so he just goes Weavile, yeah, no point in preserving. I see his life orb from this. So here I can just go Skarmory, finally get up my rocks, which are going to be crucial this game. So he doubles into Galvantula, and I thought for a long time, should I just stay in, because why would he Thunder if I have a Jolteon in the back? But then I remembered, Jolteon now is slower than Galvantula, Jolteon can't kill from this range, so even if I go Jolteon on the Thunder, he can still kill me with 2 big buzzes after. So that's exactly what happens also. So no point in risking Skarmory there. So I get Galvantula into range of Landorus. I don't crit him or anything, he takes the hit, he kills me off, and I can go Landorus and I can just U-turn out, because then I don't have to stay in, which is quite nice. And here we are now currently sitting at 4-4, and these webs are a little bit hurting me, because as you can see, Gallade has now a field day pretty much. But due to the webs, I'm not outspeeding this Dragonite, and this Dragonite can really hurt me. So here it's basically for me, okay, kind of what do I sack? And I decided to go Skarmory, because between Gallade, between Finny, I thought I could handle the Weavile, and I need those mons more for what he has in the back. Like Skarmory and Mesprit pretty much stalemate. If he has T-Bolt, Skarmory goes down. Terrakion Stone Edge still does quite a lot. So he reveals to be special. I'm sorry guys. And that's not something I really expected. So pretty much I think here, okay, if he doesn't kill me by any chance, I just have to go for the Whirlwind. Braveheart doesn't even do much, and just shuffle around is the best I can do. As he just goes for his Z move, he has indeed the Gigavolt Havoc as one of the things he expected, but then on the special side. So here I go Landorus, and here it's again 50-50 time. It's quite a lot this game, but if I go Edge, I kill Dragonite, and from my eyes, Mega Gallade could then potentially win the game, because it deals with Weavile, Drain Punch gets held back, it deals with Mesprit due to Wish, and just yeah, able to 2-shot it, deals with Terrakion because it could 1 or 2-shot it. So I thought he would not stay in, because he needs his Dragonite to be able to deal with the Gallade accordingly. So I thought I would U-turn, because if he then goes for like Mesh Pit to sack to 2 edges, or he even goes hard into Terrakion to get the offensive momentum he might seek for and be able, because if he goes Terrakion on my edge, I pretty much kind of pick a sack, or Gallade could potentially come in, but that depends what set he is. So that's why I opt to go for the U-turn, but in his eyes it was like, if I would kill Dragonite with the edge, it doesn't matter that much, because he could get a free SD with Terrakion. And I was thinking, even after an SD, he doesn't kill Gallade. But I think it was a roll. I don't know the exact roll, but it could have been a roll depending on what his set was. And you will see in a moment what his set was. So I go for the U-turn, and this cost me a lot. So I kind of lose the 50-50 here, and I kind of have to sack Finny at this point. I knew this was a risk I kind of had to take to win the match, pretty much, in my eyes. And yeah, Thunder does here. I wished I had the Wakam Berry or Dewford. Dewford could also have been really nice, especially for Gallade. So basically here goes Weavile. Even with Protect, I can't get enough health back to be out of Poison Jab range. So here I go Gallade, and I go for the Drain Punch mainly, I think. Most likely I also go for this because maybe he just wants to go for damage. So Drain Punch was still my best play. And here I know I can 1v1 this Mesh Pit. I can speed it up a little bit. I just wish on him, go for the Drain Punch, see that Ice Punch kills from this range. So I wish up again, he crits me here, but I know Ice Punch kills, so I'm back to full. And here is like the deciding turn of the game. So he's at 94%. If he has no bulk invested, I have 40% to kill with Drain Punch. And there were a lot of things considering, and I thought, okay, Terrakion can't really one-shot me. It could two-shot me, but it's still hard. So I thought I'm fine with Drain Punch and get a lot of health back. And then this happens, guys. He SDs as I Drain Punch, and he lives. And I'm like, whoa, I did just through the fact that I don't battle much. I think this was my first battle in 2-3 weeks. I don't ladder as often. I consider a lot of coverage. I consider a lot of different items, but I didn't consider that he could just SD here, because with the webs up he's faster. So at this point, if he damages Gallade enough, Weavile wins the game. If he has Ice Shot, that's still also a question. So I made this play kind of not expecting Swords Dance, but also if he was Swords Dance plus Shocka Berry, Lando was not the play. If he doubled into Weavile, which was could have definitely be a good play, because hard into Landers did make sense on Terrakion, because in most scenarios it was overall the better play. Even if it was Scarf Edge, he would kill Lando, but he would be at -1. Then Gallade could come in, take the hit, and Weavile could not kill me. So basically I should have went Lando. I think if you think about it in 50-50 terms, it was not really a 50-50, it was more 30-70, something along those lines. I don't know. I think Lando was definitely the better play. If I considered everything, I think Lando was the better play. Still, there were arguments to say just staying in, go for Drain Punch is the better play. But that's it. Also, if I had the Wish stock, I would also be in quite a good position. I almost went for the Wish. Like scouting out what set he was and knowing that I could potentially get some health back. But the problem with Wish was, I think, if he was able to two-shot me. But then I could Wish pass into a Lando. So I think Wish also would have been a fair play. I think in hindsight I might even have done that. But that's all hindsight, guys. This is heat of the moment. You think, okay, Drain Punch looks about range to kill, but not considering everything. So here we're not out of the clear water, because he has to be a specific Terrakion, because if he has no boosting item and he's like a berry or something, then he doesn't do enough damage to Gallade to put it in range of Weavile, because there's still a Lando in the back that can intimidate either Drapions now or Weavile after. So that's still something. and if depending on his nature, this might also influence the damage. So you will just see, guys, he goes for close combat, and it's 84, and that's way too much. So he ends up being adamant, life orb adamant, because he was confident that he would get up, let the web stay up. So unfortunately, guys, we will just lose from him. If he was not life orb, if he was like something like Shuka Jolly, and I didn't know at all what kind of set he was. If he was not a boosting item, he wouldn't. I would basically most likely won the game, because Drapion wouldn't do enough damage. I had still Intimidate Lando also in the back, and I could most likely clinch it from there. But now we can just go Weavile, and still it's not that over, but I already spoiled it a bit. His Weavile for me had a bit of a 4 move slot syndrome, so he revealed Poison Jab. Then you have Ice Cold Crash, Ice Cold Crash, Ice Shard, Knockoff, Pursuit. Those were 5 moves that were really nice in this match. Especially I find Pursuit for Gengar, like big threat to his team. So it's not even sure he has Ice Shard. So he reveals it here, he has Ice Shard, so it's over. Lando doesn't take Ice Shard at 64, unfortunately. So we just lose this game 1-0. It was a really close game. It was still, in the end, kind of fun game. It was a bit of a hard learning experience, you could say. Like, I think I underestimated webs on the effect it had on, especially Gallade. I didn't expect it to have such an effect. And also I think I lost a bit of 50-50s, but I also overthought things a little bit, or just didn't consider all my options, and I think this is due to the fact that my battle experience is not as much as the average player, I would say, and that really cost me the game here, guys. So we start off 0-1, which is a bit unfortunate, but still it was an out of conference match. Nothing is out of the clear yet. Next week we face A12 and his Arkham City Delibirds. So we really need to win. He has a really bulky, disgusting team. So if we can pressure him enough, I don't know. Maybe we will just go bulk with bulk. We don't know. We'll just have to see next week, guys. I hope we can bring some wins to the Drapions. Yeah, that's it for now, guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.